I must admit that the Trudeau government, they made a mess of our relationship with the U.S. and with NAFTA. First of all, when they started to negotiate, they decided to bring at the table at that time gender and climate change issues. So it's a talk about freer trade and not about trying to impose our values to the U.S. And I think since the beginning, they didn't manage very well these trade relations.
And what about supply management? Can we really negotiate in good faith on NAFTA when we still have this system in place?
First of all, I think that it's very clear that the Trump administration, they want us to get rid of that cartel of supply management. As you know, Canadian consumers are paying twice the price for poultry, dairy, and eggs. So yes, we must get rid of that. And if we are serious in these negotiations, that must be the first thing that the government must do. Get rid of that, giving that, and that will be for the good of Canadian consumers. And with that, we'll be able to achieve a deal with the U.S. That's very important. And now what the Trudeau government is doing is try to protect one industry, and we are shooting ourselves in the foot doing that.
Of course, it's not just the Trudeau government. Politicians across all parties defend supply management. Why is that? Why is this such a third rail in politics in this country?
Yeah, I really don't understand why. It's a great question. You know, there are only 16,000 dairy, poultry, and egg producers in this country, and they are taking our economy hostage. So I don't understand why politicians, they don't want to work with 35 million Canadians and to be sure to have a deal with the U.S., a trade deal and a new NAFTA. I'm very disappointed with the position of the Trudeau government on these negotiations.
Are you also disappointed with the position of your own party when it comes to supply management?
But you know, I'm the only one in the House who is fighting for Canadian consumers. And what's happening right now, the government is putting at risk 20% of our economy in these negotiations because, as you know, 20% of our GDP is related to the trade, our trade relation with the U.S. So we must do the right thing, and the right thing is to get rid of that for Canadian consumers, but also to be sure to have a deal with the U.S. And I hope that the negotiator and the Trudeau government will understand. But I think the Trudeau government right now, they're playing politics with these negotiations. And they try to, they think that with a trade war, we're going to win a trade war against the U.S. We won't win a trade war against the U.S. Their economy is 10 times bigger than our economy. So it's impossible. So I'm against retaliatory measures and retaliation against President Trump's tariff. That's not the right thing to do. We must be in a good faith and negotiating freer trade, and that starts by the cartel of supply management.
You were the clear frontrunner in your party's leadership race. Is it fair to say that your position on your refusal to change your position on supply management cost you that race?
So, some people said that, but you know, it's behind me. The most important, I'm fighting for Canadian consumers, and I'm fighting for having a good deal with the U.S. And the only thing to do that is to get rid of that. You know, Canadians are paying twice the price for these products, and it is unfair. It is an unfair cartel, and we must abolish that. And I hope that a day other politicians will understand the need to do it.
We do have precedent for other industries formerly protected. The wine industry is one often cited that did manage to prosper and innovate and stay competitive. What is different about dairy? Is it all politics? Is it all having to do with where these farmers are located and their political power?
It may be about that also, but you know what you're saying, it's about the free trade agreement that the Mulroney government negotiated in 1988, and you're right about the wine industry in Ontario, but we still have a wine industry very prosperous in Ontario. That can be the same thing for the dairy producer. Right now, they cannot export their products because of that cartel. They have to produce for the Canadian market, and they are fixing high prices for Canadian consumers. So we must get rid of of that. And, I was very pleased that Brian Mulroney, the former Prime Minister, said, I think last February, that it's time to get rid of that cartel. I hope that the Trudeau government will understand that.
So one last question, sir, and that is, you've stood by your principle on this and some other issues that aren't always popular. It cost you a place in your party's cabinet. Do you regret that? Was that an appropriate move for that party to take?
No, when you speak about conservative values and you defend conservative values, that's the right thing to do. And I did the right thing, and I will always fight for real conservative reform and bold conservative reform. And speaking about reform, if we are serious for being sure that our economy will be more productive, the finance minister must do some reform also there, abolishing the corporate, scrapping the carbon tax and lowering the business taxes and less regulation, and that will be kind of the solution for being sure that our economy would be more productive, but the government is not doing that. So I'm a conservative, I'm speaking about conservative values, and I'm proud of that.